Welcome, friends. I'm Jim Hughes, bringing you this edition of Oxford News This Week. In this week's headlines, a surprise grant honors the Canine Stray Rescue League, growing remembrance and sowing the seeds of hope at Seymour Lake Park, and information on how to stay safe amidst concerns about suspicious mail in Oakland County. Sit back and stay tuned because you're watching Oxford News This Week. Welcome back to Oxford News This Week. Again, the Oxford High School Safety Path Project is now underway. At the August 2nd meeting of the Oxford Township Board of Trustees, Township Treasurer Joseph Ferrari moved to award a nearly $550,000 bid to Superior Excavating for construction for the Ray Road Safety Path. Last month, the township voted to refuse federal funding for the path because of the concerns over the extra cost government funding could impose. On the August 7th, Terman tree and landscape workers began clearing the trees and brush along the west side of the North Oxford Road in preparation for the pavement. The new asphalt safety path is a planned 8 feet wide, over 5,000 feet long, covering the expanse from Oxford High School to Ray Road and then from North Oxford Road to M24. The new path will serve two purposes. The first goal of the path is in its name. In the case of the OHS building and grounds being deemed unsafe, the path will provide an accessible and direct path that students and staff can use as an evacuation point to designated emergency meeting points. The Oxford Meyer Store 197. The second purpose of the path simply is to serve recreation, fitness, transportation needs of runners, walkers, cyclists, and those who use mobility devices. Superior Excavating is expected to begin construction this week, so look out for the updates in the upcoming weeks on the path and its continued progress. The Oxford Canine Stray Rescue League has been selected as one of the rescues in Michigan to receive Mutts Across America grant. Started back in 2018, the Mutts Across America grant was created in partnership between country singer Miranda Lambert, Mutt Nation Foundation, and Tractor Supply Company. Grant winners were selected without even filling out an application. Each received a surprise donation of $5,000. This year, the Mutt Nation Foundation said it was focusing on outstanding shelters that help senior dogs, special need dogs, large dogs, pit bull mixes, and other dogs that might have a difficult time in finding homes. Selection criteria also included high adoption rates, volunteerism, advocacy, and Canine Stray Rescue League is a federally licensed nonprofit group formed way back in 1990, and it's located on Metamora Road. To find out more on their mission, hours, and of course their dogs, you can visit their website, caninestray.com. OCTV also has features one of the Rescue League's dogs every week on our short program called Canine Cuties, and this links can also be found on our YouTube and Facebook pages. Good stuff. Definitely deserve the money that they had coming to them there. It's very good. Growing remembrance and the sowing of seeds of hope at the Honda St. Juliana Memorial Garden. Groundbreaking took place on Sunday, August 6th. Hundreds of the community members gathered under the Davis Family Farmers Market Pavilion to celebrate and remember not only Hannah, but Justin, Tate, and Madison. All of the students who were lost on the Oxford shooting back in November of 2021. The event began at 1 p.m. and the official groundbreaking ceremony commenced at 2. Dozens of vendors lined the pavilion, transforming the space into Hannah Bloom's Market, donating portions of their proceeds to the Hannah St. Juliana Memorial Fund at the end of the day. 7 speakers were introduced, including planner Chris Nordstrom, garden designer Catherine DeCray, and endowment fund holder and executive director of the 4-County Community Foundation, Kathy Dickens. A $10,000 donation to the Memorial Fund came from Meyer 197 of Oxford. Oxford team members, and $20,000 was gifted by the IBEW Local 58. The final 2 event speakers were members of the Hannah's immediate family, her sister Rihanna and her father Steve. Both emphasized the gratitude for the community, coming out together to the love and support of their family and the project. The final event of the day was the groundbreaking itself, where all 4 members of the family, along with Nordstrom and DeCray, took lavender-colored shovels in hand and broke the earth. The various shades of purple decor at the event were just one part of the presentation of Hannah, and the life will be further illustrated in the garden. For more information about the garden, including the digital renderings or how you can donate to help support the Hannah St. Juliana Memorial Fund, visit their website, hannah-memorial-fund-.com. The garden is set to be completed by next spring. Minimal information from the Oxford High School about the hours leading up to the tragedy in November of 2021 has been a source of continual frustration, anger in the community. At the school board meeting on August 8th, Buck Meir, father of Tate Meir, along with other parents, spoke out against the school board and the lack of communication and the investigation. The school board has declined several offers from the Michigan Attorney General to conduct an independent investigation. Even after the board was pressured on hiring an outside firm, the results are still not expected until at least this fall. Closing in on the 2-year anniversary of the tragic mass shooting, during the August 8th meeting, Buck Meir said it took his family 1 year and 9 months to hear that his son did not die alone. Meir and his wife originally planned to walk out of the pre-sentencing hearing for the shooter once the Oxford High School surveillance footage played. However, the claims that because of the lack of communication, the family was forced to watch it since they had not even one answer from the school board on what actually occurred on that November 30th, 2021 day. Other community members spoke out during the meeting. One point at the 616-day span of those who are still grieving have to wait for answers. The district has promised to provide an independent audit of what occurred that day, but there is still no set date at when that report will be completed, leaving frustrated community members and a continued anticipating answers. Calls about suspicious mail in Oakland County have been increased in the recent weeks. According to the Oakland County Clerk, the Register of Deeds, Lisa Brown, unofficial letters with the intention of marketing expensive home warranty policies and scamming Oakland County residents are employing alarming words such as lapse in coverage, property seizure to attempt to deceive area home and business owners. The mail urges the recipient to immediately call the 800 telephone number, but Brown warns that no one should call or send money to these behind these suspicious messages. A few notices of tax liens have been partially alarming because of the features, the emblems, and the names of the Oakland County departments that are actually being used on the mailings. Brown wants homeowners to know that despite its realism, the mail is not from her office and has no influence on the status of Oakland County properties. While she states that the property fraud is rare, she believes it is a real threat to homes and business owners, and they should stay informed. Brown stresses that any junk mail should be ignored and discarded, and property owners have any concern about what should be done, they can contact her office, the Oakland County Clerk. Register of Deeds phone number is 248-858-0561. The email is deeds@oakgov.com. Independent nonprofit Merit Network is holding a survey to aid improving high-speed internet services in Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne counties. Merit Network owns and operates America's longest-running research and education networks, and its mission is to launch Michigan into the forefront of networking technologies. The goal of the Internet survey, according to Merit, is to bridge the digital divide between properties that do not have essential Internet services. Any gathered information will not only be used to support broadband Internet expansion across the Tri-County area and support grant funding further that will cause the survey to be completed in under 5 minutes, and the information may be used in planning to expand access opportunities with government and local Merit Network partners. To take the survey or answer any of the further questions you may have about the survey, you can log on www.merit.edu. The 2023 Oakland County Parks Community Grant Program has recently awarded $600,000 to 11 Oakland County communities. The Oakland County Board of Commissioners voted to officially approve the grant program recipients on August 3rd. Among the awarded communities are the Village of Leonard, Orion Township, Oakland Township, and the City of Farmington, and the City of Royal Oak. Oakland County Parks Director Chris Ward said the grants will go towards projects that will directly benefit residents throughout the added recreation opportunities being added, increased accessibility, and investment in local neighborhoods. In the Leonard, $25,000 will be supporting the design and engineering costs that will come with modernizing and improving the safety along the 17-mile Oakland County sector of the Polly Ann Trail, Iron Bell Trail. Funding for the grants was directly influenced by the Oakland County voters who approved an increased millage levy to support the Parks Commission. The initiative will be reviewed on a yearly basis, determining that the availability of grant funding on what procedures should be taken to put the money to good use. Recently, the Davis Family Farmers Market at Seymour Lake Park welcomed vendors of all ages when they hosted the event called Kids Day. August 5th, young entrepreneurs paid $5 to claim their booth spot, sell their goods and services. Among some of the young business owners were bracelet mark makers, a sports trading card seller, even a vacuum repairman. During the festivities, the Oxford Public Library Friends handed out free children's books. Oxford Fire Department showcased one of their tanker trucks for the visits. Also on Kids Day over at the market was still open. The market is still open every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Rain or shine, visitors will find produce, pasture-raised meat, honey, coffee, baked goods, flowers, and even more at the market. If you're interested in visiting the Davis Family Market, you can find a list of vendors on Friday before the market days at the Charter Township of Oxford Facebook page. The market, again, is open every Saturday until the end of October. And in a separate segment that we've come to now love and cherish, it's called Behind the Lens. In our Behind the Lens segment, 1 century marks the big difference of a composite of Michigan at Trumbull in Detroit. The top picture was taken in 1894, 2 years before baseball even began at that site. The bottom picture is what was taken by individual at Tiger Stadium. The last season, 1999, it was June 5th, 1999. The Cardinals were in town, the interleague game at the corner. If you want your camera stills to be featured on Oxford News this week, you can email them to us, email OCCTV.com. A short description of where your photo was taken and why, for an opportunity, why you had the snapshot sent in. Feel free to send it to us. We'll get it on in our Behind the Lens segment. And in our last story, Yahoo! The Oxford graduates ended up a search engine-based game show. Stay tuned. You'll hear the last story at the end. Up and coming, Dave Kenny has Auto Talk and Science in the news. You are watching Oxford News This Week on Oxford Community Television.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from Automotive News. In our first story, all of General Motors' electric vehicles could soon become backup home generators. The automaker plans to offer bidirectional charging on all of its EVs by 2026, starting with the 2024 Chevrolet Silverado EV RST this year. Bidirectional charging allows the EV to send energy from its batteries to other sources, such as a house. GM's first-generation Ultium vehicle-to-home bidirectional charger will go on sale in the fourth quarter as Chevrolet launches the Silverado EV. GM did not disclose pricing details, but said the bidirectional charger will be priced only modestly higher than a standard one of the same power level. The technology will allow consumers to store and transfer energy to help offset electricity costs during peak demand times and to mitigate the effect of power outages, GM said. Our approach is very much an ecosystem approach, says Haas Hassani, GM's Vice President of Charging and Energy, as he told Automotive News. While the EV is at the center of the universe, it alone is not where all the value comes from, not for us as a business and not for the customer as an experience, he says. Other automakers also are rolling out the technology. Ford Motor Company has launched bidirectional charging technology on its F-150 Lightning electric pickup. And Tesla officials said in March that the automaker's vehicles would be capable of bidirectional charging by 2025, the same year GM plans to build EVs with Tesla's North American charging standard connectors. Hassani expects initial sales for the charger to vary by state, with most sales in California, Texas, New York, Michigan, and Florida. Our push on education is going to be national, but we are going to expect some states to be early adopters in this versus others, he said. For now, most of the consumer benefit is peace of mind in having backup energy source during a blackout or brownout, he said. Once electric utility companies scale managed charging programs, which would allow consumers to schedule charging for off-peak times, consumers could save money by charging when the cost of electricity is lowest. Long-term, consumers could profit by unloading energy from their vehicles to the grid, Hassani said. In our second story, Hyundai Motor Company and Kia said that they are recalling more than 91,000 newer vehicles in the United States because of fire risks and urged owners to park outside and away from structures pending repairs. The recall covers Hyundai 2023-24 Palisade, 2023 Tucson Sonata Elantra, and Kona vehicles, and 2023-2024 Seltos and 2023 Kia Soul Sportage vehicles. The Korean automaker said electronic controllers for the idle stop-and-go oil pump assembly might contain damaged electrical components that can cause the pump to overheat. Dealers will inspect and replace the electric oil pump controller as needed. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Canine Stray Rescue is Oxford's own local dog rescue. Call them at 248-628-0435 or go to their website dogsaver.org and click on the Canine Stray Rescue League link.
Welcome back to Oxford News This Week. Sports on the way. It's time for the latest in sports. Oxford Canine Stray Rescue League is hosting a special golf outing in honor of a dog who taught the Canine volunteer team the battle is always worth the effort. Boomer arrived at Canine severely neglected and fought against all odds to reach for a life as a normal dog. Although he lost the battles in the end, Boomer inspired many on the team to create the Boomer Classic, an outing that will support the Canine Stray efforts to help abused and neglected dogs. The golf event includes breakfast, lunch, dinner, a full 18 holes of golf at Boulder Point Golf Club. It'll take place on Sunday, September 17th. The Boomer Classic will bring games, competitions, a 50-50 raffle, a silent auction, and trophies to the course. Dinner is also available to non-golfers who would like to join in on the festivities. Check-in for breakfast begins at 8:30 in the morning. Play begins with a shotgun start at 9:30. Canine Stray Rescue is looking for both teams and individuals to take part. To reserve a spot, you can email caninestraygolf@yahoo.com. For information on how you could help with the Rescue League, the Canine Stray Rescue League, check out their Facebook page and you can find out how to help there. The Addison Township Firefighters Association is holding its first ever Chuck Johnson Skedaddle 5K and 10K race on Sunday, September 24th. The event honors the late Addison Township Fire Department Sergeant Charles Gunnar Johnson, who served in the department for about 17 years and passed away in May of 2021. The funds raised for the event will directly support the Great Lakes Burn Camp and the Chuck Johnson Scholarship Award to one or more Oxford High School students. The run will start at 9 a.m. near the old fire station in downtown Leonard, which is at 23 East Elmwood Street. The participants with the best costume will win a prize, and all participants will receive a commemorative t-shirt from the event. The cost is $40 to participate in the 5K, $60 for the 10K. Registration and payment are due September 20th. There is no walk-up registrations. The registration link is located on the Addison Township Fire Department Facebook page. Firefighters Association is also looking for event sponsors and volunteers. For the information, contact them at 248-628-5600. Coming up, Dave Kenny will have another segment. I'll be back with the last story, and we'll close this edition of Oxford News This Week. You're watching Oxford Community Television.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. A sediment core from underneath the Greenland ice sheet has provided the first direct evidence that much of the ice disappeared during an interglacial period 400,000 years ago, when global temperatures were similar to what they are today. The findings show that even if the planet doesn't get any warmer than it is now, ice loss from Greenland alone would add at least 1.5 meters to the global average sea level, and possibly as much as 5 meters. This is in line with existing projections, but the study provides direct evidence to back them up. It's a pretty sobering warning that we're not only have to stop putting carbon into the atmosphere, we've got to start taking it out if we hope to save Greenland's ice, says Paul Bierman at the University of Vermont. He and his colleagues have been studying a core from Camp Century in northwest Greenland that was obtained in 1966 by drilling all the way down through the ice sheet. Camp Century, an abandoned nuclear-powered U.S. base, is around 200 kilometers from the edge of the ice sheet and is situated on top of nearly 1.4 kilometers of ice. They got to the bottom of the ice, and then they drilled 12 feet into the sediment below, which had never been done before and has never been done since, says Bierman, though there are now plans to do this in other places in Greenland. There was no way to date the sediment at the time, and it was largely forgotten until about 2018, when it turned up in a facility in Denmark. How it ended up there isn't entirely clear, but appears to have involved a disgruntled researcher sending it to the wrong place, said Bierman. His team used a technique called luminescence dating to show that the sediment was last exposed to sunlight around 416,000 years ago during an interglacial period known in Britain as the Hoxnean. The only way the sediment could have been exposed to sunlight is if the ice was gone, says Bierman. The researchers then used computer models to work out how much of Greenland's ice sheet must have melted or slid into the ocean for there to be no ice at the Camp Century site. At a minimum, Greenland lost enough ice to raise the global sea level by 1.5 meters and possibly by as much as 5 meters, the models suggest. During the Hoxnean, global sea level was up to 13 meters higher than it is today. It has been estimated that up to 6 meters of that was due to Greenland ice loss, but there was no evidence for this until now. It's remarkable what they have extracted from the sedimentary evidence, says Jonathan Gregory at the University of Reading in the UK. It's definitely valuable to have some dated evidence of ice-free conditions in the region against which we can evaluate model projections. The average global temperature during the Hoxnean is estimated to have been between 1 and 1.5 degrees warmer than before the industrial age began. Basically what it is now, says Bierman. CO2 levels during the Hoxnean were similar to pre-industrial levels at around 280 parts per million. Today, we're at 420. So nature, given enough time, will melt the Greenland ice sheet back at further lower concentrations of carbon dioxide than we have today, says Bierman. And we're pumping more in every day. However, because the Hoxnean interglacial period lasted around 30,000 years, this study can't reveal how much time it would take to melt the ice. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change projects that Greenland will contribute between 4 and 27 centimeters to global sea level by 2100 and more after that. It's hard to find records like this from periods when there was less ice on Earth, as most locations are now covered in ice, says Andrew Shepherd at the University of Northumbria in the UK. The more evidence like this, the better, as it just adds confidence to our projections, he says. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
Have you liked us on Facebook yet? If not, what are you waiting for? Just go to your Facebook page, go to the search bar, and type in Oxford Community Television.
Welcome back. For our last story, we're saying Yahoo! For local stars on a search engine-based game show. 3 Oxford High School graduates recently appeared in the first season of the new game show, Hey Yahoo! Hosted by actor Tom Cavanaugh, brothers RJ and Ramel Blade, along with their friend Richard Hernandez, all made their way to California. Separate to Post High School, RJ and Hernandez graduated from Oxford High School in 2010. Ramil followed 2 years later. RJ said he was inspired by his hometown teachers to pursue a career in acting, which he has been doing for the last 10 years now. The game show began in March when casting director reached out to RJ asking him if he would be interested in auditioning to be on Hey Yahoo! The 2 people RJ had in mind was his brother and his longtime friend. The trio began the process of filming in Delfino Studios in Slimer, California. I know it's out in California. After lessons on the facial expressions and fine-tuning wardrobes, the 3 were finally able to compete against one another in the hopes of finding the best answer to what millions of people are looking for on Yahoo search engines. In the end, the team pulled away with a win of $1,700 minus taxes. Split among the 3 commented that this truly was fun, exciting, and experience to be part of, even though Moreso and, of course, if you win the episode of all 3 were featured on the Plant Family Show, the 28th episode. It is available to stream anywhere on the Game Show Network. Check it out. Once again, we thank them for doing what they do, pursuing their dreams. As always, we'd like to thank our news gathering sources. This week's news, we gathered it from the Charter Township of Oxford, the K-9 Stray Rescue League, Oxford Community Schools, Oakland County Board of Commissioners, Addison Township Firefighters Association, Facebook pages, and the websites. The Oxford Leader, the MudNation.com website, WXYZ TV Detroit Channel 7 News, Click on Detroit, the Oakland Press, Fox 2 Detroit, Merit.edu, the Oakland County Times, also Oxford Township Parks and Rec website, and the K-9 Stray Rescue website. This week's photo credits go out to CJ Carnacchio, Don Rush, and of course the Oxford Leader, Clarence Tabb Jr. on Click on Detroit, Stephen Fry of Meta Media News Group, the Oakland County website, and the K-9 Stray Rescue League OCTV can be viewed on Spectrum Charter Channel 191, Channel 99 on the ATT Uverse system. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, and Roku, the app, as well as if you have a show idea or would like to volunteer, contact OCTV. Give our office a call at 248-628-9658. The very special thank you to producer and director, the man that handles it all behind the screen, Kyle Stage, videographer Al Campbell, news writer, yes, Allison Miller, making it all better, and editor Marissa Rushka, programmer Connie Miller, program director, program coordinator Dan Zweiss, and station manager Terry Stiles. Yes, we have a lot of people that put this thing together. For everyone here at OCTV, I'm Jim Hughes, hoping you have a safe week. I invite you back next time. And again, we will take a look at Oxford News this week.